This is the Carl DeMaio Show, and we're giving you the story behind the story. We're fighting to take back our state for a better California. Okay, so as you know, I am no longer doing the broadcast version of the show, 3 to 6 every day on News Radio 600 Kogo, but I'm committed to continuing the conversation with you. I value our listeners, and we've done a lot to organize the grassroots on so many issues using this platform of a regular show on the hottest news issues and giving people specific assignments on what they can do to take action to address things that they're concerned about in the community or across the state or, frankly, across the country. So my commitment to you is we're going to continue the conversation, and I'm going to continue to provide episodes of the Carl DeMaio Show. We're going to give you the story behind the story, and we're going to lead the fight to take back California. Now, this is going to be an interesting experiment, I guess. It's not that much of an experiment because we've been doing it for 4.5 years. But I don't think there's ever been a member of Congress who's given a regular update to constituents in the form of a talk show and brought people in behind the curtain. Sacramento is a cesspool, and usually you get a filter from the liberal media where you get packaged news from members of Congress and politicians and state senators and state assembly members. What I want to do on this show is I want to lift the veil. I want to bring you behind the scenes and give you the inside scoop as to what's really going on in the halls of Congress and the corridors of power, what's going on in Sacramento, and really give you a more unvarnished view of what's actually happening. And then, of course, we're going to be addressing all sorts of ways that you can take action. So same show, just in a new platform, in a new way to access us. What I want you to do, though, is please spread the word. Tell your friends that the show is back and that we're available on the website, carldemaio.com. We have a podcast button up there. We're also on demand, so you can subscribe to the show on your favorite podcast platform, whether that's the iHeartRadio app or any of the other good ones that are out there. But you can listen anytime, anywhere, and I will commit to continuing to provide you with updated episodes on a very regular basis. All right, so let's get right into it. When I launched my campaign last Monday, August 5th, I did one more show on the broadcast channel at News Radio 600 Kogo, but people were contacting me saying, I miss you. And I said, yes, I know, and I miss you too. I do miss speaking with our callers and getting the emails and the text messages from people as we're talking about these issues every day. So you can still give me your feedback by going to the website carldemaio.com or forabettercalifornia.org. You can still email me your questions, your comments, story ideas, and I will be talking about those on air. So I launched the campaign, and the campaign is for U.S. Congress in the 50th Congressional District. It's the seat currently held by Duncan Hunter. He is facing a lot of legal jeopardy with his criminal indictment and his trials coming up in September. We cannot lose the 50th Congressional seat, and that's why, first and foremost, I'm running for Congress, is so that we don't lose another seat to Democrat socialists. The guy who's running for this seat on the Democrat side, Amar Campa-Najjar, almost won the seat in 2018. Just a couple thousand more votes, and he would have been the next member of Congress. We would have no Republican voice from the entire San Diego County area, which is just dumbfounding. It's inconceivable from just a few years ago that we would have no Republican members of Congress from San Diego County. I don't want that to happen. And look, Amar Campa-Najjar, with his radical socialist ideas, he'd be the fifth member of the fascist four. You know, AOC plus 3, it'd be AOC plus 4. And so we don't want that to happen either. So we need to do this campaign so that we can safeguard this Republican seat. But more importantly, I want us to use this congressional seat to be a base of operation to fight to take back California. That's right. I mean, any member of Congress or any state senator or any state assembly member on the Republican side could be the voice of opposition. Whenever Gavin Newsom, our governor, Gavin Newsom, introduces another extreme policy, whether it's, the extension of the high-speed rail project, the gas tax increase, raiding our road repair funds, or the latest one, giving free taxpayer-funded health care to illegal immigrants, Republicans are silent in the state of California. Like, literally, where is the voice of opposition in our state? Anyone. I'll even take a mayor or a city council member. Who is going to provide the voice of opposition? Now, obviously, I did that from the perch of the radio show every day. But I think I can do that as California's next Republican member of Congress. And that's what this campaign is really about. The larger issue is fighting to take back our state from one-party control from a supermajority that has an agenda that's socialism. There's no doubt about it. You want to see what a socialist country looks like? You don't need to look to Venezuela. You can look right here in the U.S. to the state of California to see socialist policies and the negative impact that has on people. We have too many Californians fleeing. And when I announced for Congress, my opening statement started with the fact that I know friends and family members and colleagues at work, activists who are packing up their bags and they're leaving California. They never thought they would leave California, and they're going to other states. They can't stomach it here anymore. They can't afford it here anymore. I'm talking about thousands, by the way, not just a handful. Tens of thousands each month, hundreds of thousands of Californians each year flee. They're fleeing socialism. Just like for all those decades, people fled socialist countries and communist countries in the 80s and the 90s. I don't think you should flee. In fact, I think the only option is to stand and fight. But in order to fight, we have to be effective. We have to have a leader. We have to have a infrastructure. We have to have funding. We have to have an agenda. And so that's what this campaign is about. Not just one congressional seat. It is about larger, the fight to take back an entire state. And you might say, well, Carl, that's a lot to take on. You bet it's a lot to take on. When we did that recall against State Senator Josh Newman back in 2017 when he voted for the car and gas tax hikes, nobody thought we could do it. Remember, only 5 elected officials in the entire state of California had been successfully recalled in 104 years, and no sitting state senator had ever been recalled in 104 years since the voters had gotten the right of recall and referenda during the progressive era in the 1910s. And we had no money when we started out. All we had were committed volunteers and grassroots donors, but we did it. And then when we said we're going to qualify an initiative, a statewide constitutional amendment to repeal the gas tax, repeal the car tax, and make sure that politicians can never vote for a car or gas tax again without a vote of the people. People said that it was impossible. You needed to have $10 million, Carl, in your bank account. You need all the business groups behind you. And I said, nope, I think we can do it just by organizing grassroots volunteers and asking grassroots donors for $5. $10, $25. And what did we do? Not only did we get the 584,000 signatures we needed to get it on the ballot, we got nearly 1 million signatures. We did it on a bargain basement budget, and we did it in record time. So I do not believe that this is a fight that's impossible. I think that this fight has to happen. And I'm sick and tired of the Republican Party of California, frankly, giving up the fight. Now, there's been some changes recently, and I'm optimistic, cautiously optimistic. With new leadership, the Republican Party is going to be a good partner. We're seeing some good things happen, but it takes an entire grassroots movement if we're going to fight and win in this state. So let me tell you about some of the things we're going to do different in this campaign that you probably haven't seen in another congressional campaign. First and foremost, just like Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has stretched the debate on the left and been really, I know, ironically, the thought leader for Democrats, and that, again, thought leader. Let that set in. AOC is the thought leader on the left. On the right, I want to be the thought leader in identifying a reform agenda that can transform this country, that can be an alternative to socialism. I've always said you can't beat something with nothing. And I believe that Republicans need to offer bold, positive, credible policy prescriptions, alternatives to what the Democrats are offering with socialism and their racist screeds. And so in this campaign, you're going to see a very robust issue agenda, a reform agenda that I will advocate. Doesn't mean that all of my ideas are right, or the only ideas that we can pursue, but at least I'll be offering some bold ideas and you'll be helping me advance them. So first and foremost, our ideas are fix Congress first. We are going to be pursuing a 10-point plan that would require that Congress live under the same laws as the rest of us with no special exemptions. Now, this is important because the culture of Congress is such that, you know, they have this entitlement mentality that they somehow don't have to comply with the laws that they pass that you and I have to comply with. And I'll be blunt with you. I think Duncan Hunter and his current criminal indictment is a reflection of the culture of Congress, the bad culture of Congress. You had Duncan Hunter embezzle, allegedly, $250,000 of campaign funds. And if you look at the evidence against him, particularly the fact that his wife is testifying against him, it's pretty clear, you know, what he did was wrong. But he thought he could get away with it because all the members of Congress are getting away with this crap. They have an entitlement mentality. They deserve $250,000 of other people's money to live the high life. And so I think what we have to do is take on the culture of Congress and say that if you commit a crime or if you are accused of financial malfeasance, you need to be held accountable the same way anyone else would in the similar situation in the real world. So for example, if you and I worked at a company and we took the corporate card and we embezzled $250,000 of funds and we were indicted by the DOJ and a bunch of evidence showed that we did it and our wife was even there saying we did it, do you think the company we worked for would allow us to stay on payroll with benefits? No, we'd be fired. At least put on unpaid administrative leave. Would we be given access to that credit card still today? No, they would take the credit card away. But that's exactly what Duncan Hunter has access to. He gets a full salary, taxpayer expense, and he still gets to raise money into his campaign fund, and he still gets to use his campaign card. You know who I blame? I blame not only Nancy Pelosi, I blame every member of Congress who's too chicken to stand up and say that this behavior is unacceptable. That's why my Fix Congress First plan, which is on my website, carldemaio.com, would go through and eliminate all exemptions for any member of Congress, forcing them to live under the same laws as the rest of us. It would also strip them of their perks. It would open up the books of Congress. It would end the Senate filibuster, which has been a real impediment to the president's agenda, whether it's repealing and replacing Obamacare or building the border wall. Getting rid of that filibuster is key. It would also require no budget, no pay for real. If these members of Congress don't pass a budget on time, they shouldn't get paid. And it shouldn't be one of those things where they temporarily don't get paid. No, you should forfeit your pay permanently for every day that you didn't get your job done. Again, the concept here is apply all the rules, ethical standards, and laws to members of Congress. So that's the first policy plan that I'm really excited about. Second, secure the border. We have a 5-point border security initiative on our website. And I'm very proud of this plan. I worked with Border Patrol officials on this plan, immigration experts, illegal immigration activists. And our 5-point plan is simple. Number one, build the wall. Fully fund the infrastructure requested by Border Patrol professionals so that they can do their job to secure the border. Also, make sure that they get the staffing that they need to do their jobs, both for Border Patrol as well as immigrations and custom enforcement. Second, we've got to enforce E-Verify against employers because these employers want access to cheap labor. As long as there's illegal employment going on, there's still going to be an incentive for illegal immigrants to pour across the border. Third, stop the public welfare for illegal immigrants. We should not be giving the free taxpayer-funded health care benefits in the state of California to illegal immigrants. It's nothing more than an incentive for them to come across the border. Fourth, we need to reform our immigration laws and our asylum laws so that we can actually secure the border. You have our laws allowing all sorts of loopholes so that people can come into this country and stay illegally. And then finally, fifth, we do need access to guest worker programs, but let's force the employers and the guest workers to pay a fee. You come in under one of the visa programs, you should pay a fee and have to post a bond. And if you break your visa requirement and overstay your welcome, well, then that money will be used to come scoop you up and kick you out. Deportation. This provides a continual funding stream for ICE and Border Patrol to do their job, and members of Congress won't be able to hold up the budget and withhold the funding. I want you to check out my border security initiative on our website, and I want you to join us on September 28th in Santee, where we will be joined by Angel Moms and Chris Harris, the former Border Patrol Union executive, in launching a super PAC that will advance my border security initiative by getting members of Congress and candidates for Congress to endorse it. And if they don't endorse border security, we might take them out of office, either challenging them in their primaries or taking a Democrat and kicking a Democrat out of office and flipping the seat. We also have my Second Amendment plan on our website. I'm proud to have the endorsement of Michael Schwartz of San Diego County Gun Owners. I've talked about this plan on our radio show multiple times. It's called the Let's Roll Initiative. It allows for concealed carry if you qualify under the federal review process, and that concealed carry permit, if you apply at the federal level, would be honored by every single state in the union. That allows our heroes to be in the right place with the right tool to stop evildoers in these mass shootings. We also want to make sure that our children have self-defense training and education, and they know their Second Amendment rights. So there's a requirement in there for curriculum in every school. Hey, if the left can mandate curriculum in schools for their socialist ideas, radical ideas, we can on constitutional rights. So many other issues to get to, but I think you're picking up the flavor of what this campaign is going to be about and what my approach will be as a member of Congress. I'm going to be bold with ideas for reform. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention this. In November, we're releasing my alternative to Obamacare. I'm calling it Freedom Care. Yeah, no other Republican has a plan to replace Obamacare. Republicans didn't have a plan when they got control over every element of government, and they failed to do the job that they said they were going to do. Well, I've got Freedom Care, and I'm excited about the ideas to reduce healthcare costs that I will lay out and improve access to medicine and healthcare. So being bold on the issue agenda. I need your help with that agenda, obviously, and your ideas as we go forward. Okay, other things that we're doing that are innovative is that we're structuring our campaign in an innovative way. I am sick and tired of seeing Republicans lose offices because they run uninspired, stale campaigns. We're going to ballot harvest in this election. We're going to activate volunteers in grassroots. We're going to fundraise in new ways. We're going to campaign and go door to door in different ways. We're going to engage the youth vote. All of these things will be done to try to show other Republicans how they could perhaps do their campaigns better. So coming up, let me tell you about the success we've had. In our first week, we broke records. Did you know? We broke records for a Republican congressional campaign, and I'll tell you all about it and how we did it coming up on the Carl DeMaio Show. But first, these messages.
Carl DeMaio here. From raiding our road improvement funds for bus and bike lanes to gas taxes and congestion taxes, politicians keep making it harder to drive. Traffic will only get worse unless we demand change. Join me, Carl DeMaio, by signing the petition at fixsandiegoroads.org.
Carl DeMaio thinks it's time to clean up the mess in Congress and take a new approach to solving problems. That's why Carl DeMaio is proposing the Fix Congress First plan. Make Congress live under the same laws the rest of us do. no special exemptions. Eliminate lavish congressional pensions and other perks. Force Congress to open up its own books and records to public review. Make Congress read the bills first before they vote on them. No budget, no pay. Permanently take away Congress's pay for every day the budget is late. If we want better results from Washington, we need to start by fixing Congress first. That's why it's time to help Carl DeMaio get his Fix Congress First plan enacted. Sign Carl's petition and help fix Congress first.
You're listening to the Carl DeMaio Show. Let me tell you about what we were able to do with the campaign in the first week. And I think Republicans need to do more of this. Part of what I want to do is innovate how Republicans run for office in California, maybe even across the country, but let's start in California since we're doing so poorly. When I launched my campaign for Congress on Monday at 11 a.m., our website crashed at 11:30 because so many people had gone to it in just the first 30 minutes right after we hit send on our first email to contribute that the system got overloaded. And we were able to break a record in just the first 24 hours. Most of the time when Republicans run for office, even incumbent members of Congress, they raise about $200,000 to $300,000 for an entire quarter. That's 90 days, okay, in an entire quarter. And most of that money, by the way, when they're incumbents, comes from PACs. The DeMaio campaign, with your help, raised $250,000, $250,000 in the first 24 hours alone. Not a single penny came from political action committees. No PAC money. We got donations from over 3,500 donors in that 24-hour period. The average contribution was $72. That is a grassroots funding base, which is something you don't see with most Republicans. They have PAC money. They've got big donors who max out, give $5,000 each. We got $72 from 3,500 donors in a 24-hour period, and that was $250,000 right out of the gate. That was a record-breaking sum. It was so astounding, and I was surprised myself. I'm usually not surprised by things. I was shocked. I was floored. I was grateful. I was absolutely pumped up because I said, wow, we can do this. Not only are we going to win a seat, but we're going to take back California. If we're doing this in 24 hours, we absolutely have a hunger out there for people to invest in the fight. Now, within 72 hours, we had yet another record. Within 72 hours, we raised $450,000, and that was an average contribution of $89 from more than 5,000 individual donors and no PAC money. These are grassroots donors who are showing that they will invest in candidates who will fight for what they believe in, who have a plan, and who are going to be faithful to the grassroots. So I say thank you to everyone who has contributed, but we're not done. We've got to raise millions of dollars in this campaign. 72 hours, $450,000. Some people, that's what they need just to run a campaign. Now, in this case, the Democrats hate my guts. They do not want me to be in office. They do not want me to create a model. They do not want us to start the fight to take back California. They know that if we show that this works, that it is going to spread like a virus, a good virus, by the way. So that's why I need your help. How did we raise that money? And people have been asking me for the past, several days, Republican political operatives, members of Congress, how did you raise that money? I said, well, first and foremost, like the Democrats, we treat the $5 donor as important as the $5,000 donor. Republicans have lost sight of the small dollar donor. They are not focused on the grassroots. I think that that's a big mistake. The grassroots have tremendous resources. Just it comes in smaller contributions per person. And so what I want to do is get the grassroots donors to have as much of a seat at the table in the Republican Party as the big millionaire donors. They should. And I think that's what is wrong with the Republican Party is that members of Congress are too focused on currying favor with PACs and the rich. Again, I'm not saying that those people should be marginalized or are bad, but you can't just focus on your relationship with one of those groups. You have to be balanced, and that's where the grassroots can keep you honest. Grassroots can keep you grounded, and that's where the grassroots donors come in. I'm blessed with the fact that people have been participating in my efforts over the years, have been listening to the radio show, have signed up on my newsletter, have sent me their email. And so we've had a great ability to get a contact list. But Democrats do this. You know, Tom Steyer, the billionaire, you know those commercials he's running saying, I'm Tom Steyer and I just took a dump. No, I'm Tom Steyer and I'm trying to impeach President Trump. You've seen the ad on cable or on radio. Well, you and I both know that you can't impeach the president by signing a petition. But what Tom Steyer does is he gets you to sign his impeachment, his phony impeachment petition, so that he can harvest your email and start a relationship with you. And then he's able to point you in the direction. And he did this very well, very effectively last cycle in defeating several Republican members for Congress in Orange County, in San Diego, and Central Valley. He built up that list, and then he unleashed those grassroots supporters against members of Congress, and that, in part, helped flip the control of the Congress. Why aren't Republicans doing that? Why aren't they out there saying, hey, you want to secure the border? Sign my petition. Hey, you want to stop illegal immigrants from getting free taxpayer-funded health care? Sign my petition. You want to stop the crazy train to nowhere, high-speed rail? Sign my petition. Ah, yes, you all know, because we've done those petitions, and they work. So first and foremost, I've told the Republicans, we've been building our base and respecting our base and communicating with our base and showing how when they invest $5, what is the actual result. Republicans need to do that. We also have text messages that we've been able to harvest, and we were able to text 22,000 people in the first 48 hours and ask them directly on their cell phones to contribute. We're going to be using some new technologies, by the way, in this campaign. I'm excited by them. I'm willing to test and try something, and see where it goes. And if it works, we expand it. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. We move on. We tried something new. It didn't work. And then we can double down on things that do work. And so this is going to be a campaign that is innovative. And I think that the results we've shown thus far in fundraising, just an indicator of our approach of trying to use the tactics of the Democrats and leave the Democrats' crappy ideas with them. That's my philosophy. Look at how they're running campaigns, learn from it, acquire it, use it for our ideas of freedom and accountability and limited government. So fundraising, we broke 2 records. We have the press releases detailing the records that we broke all online at carldemaio.com. Now, I need your help because we got to raise $1 million in short order. We're going to do it. Okay. $450,000 in 72 hours. We can get to the $1 million level. But I need your help. If you can contribute $25, please do so. It is so important. Don't sit on the sidelines. All you have to do is go to carldemaio.com. Can you bring a friend to the campaign? Forward our website to one of your friends. Ask them to contribute. Can you attend an event? Or if a friend is on the fence about supporting, can you drag them to an event? We have a whole list of events up on the website at carldemaio.com. Some of them are just town halls, meet and greets, and others are actual fundraisers. Bring someone. Nobody is ever turned away. So fundraising is the first thing that we've done very well, but that's not going to win this campaign alone. It gives us resources, gas in the tank to get our message out. Coming up in our next episode, I'm going to talk about the ability to recruit college kids and activate students at high schools and colleges all throughout Southern California to be part of the conservative movement. That's going to be so critical that we're able to do that, not only to win their vote, but to power our campaigns. Republicans have not done a good job of that, but we're already seeing some amazing results on our efforts on high school campuses and college campuses. So that's coming up on the Carl DeMaio Show's next episode. Hope you like it. I hope you like the new format. We're going to continue doing it. We're going to have fresh content Some of the episodes might be shorter. Some might be longer. I'll be having some guests as well. But we're going to continue the conversation, and we are going to fight to take back our state. This podcast was paid for by Carl DeMaio for Congress. I'm Carl DeMaio, and I approved this message.